Hello everyone, I'm Blake Zonca and I'm going to show you how to hire somebody on Upwork. And I'm going to do that through example. One thing about Upwork that's real interesting and useful, especially if you're a founder, is that Upwork is great if you need skills of a very particular kind and you need them quickly. My goal is to hire somebody to edit my podcast. Today I just filmed an episode and I have the raw video and audio. And I could edit this myself. It'll take some time, but I know that's not worth my time. So you can go on Upwork.com, which is a great site. I'm not affiliated with it, but I have spent a fair amount of money through the website. And what I'd like to do, first of all, is mentally just think, what does success look like for this project? What do I want to happen? I want to have somebody edit my podcast. So ideally, I can just give somebody video and audio and they will come back to me with a edited podcast, which means the audio and the video are synced, and they will chop the video up into small clips that they will then post on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and things like that. That is something I'm comfortable hiring. I don't know all the details and all of the tricks of the editing programs, but that's why I'm delegating, because it's all about time management and efficiency. So once you create an account on Upwork, if you go to jobs and post a job, you will go through this questionnaire, which is basically what kind of hire you're looking for. Is it short term or is it long term? And this basically just helps the freelancers get a feel for what kind of job it actually is, and Upwork's search algorithm will show it to the right people. And it's been pretty good. I've gotten good results with it. So for this project, just editing a podcast, I don't anticipate it's going to be more than 30 hours a week. Really, it'd just be a couple hours a week on an as-needed basis as I'm filming episodes and whatnot. So I'm going to hit short-term or part-time work for this. My job title is one of the things that freelancers are going to see. I like distinguishing myself as a client by maybe adding some importance or at least more detail of what the job is, because you have to think of it this way as well. If you're an amazing freelancer, you're very selective about the projects you work on, and I want to attract those people as a client. So as I'm writing all these titles and descriptions, just know that you also have to sell yourself as a client. It's not just putting specifically what you want. So just thinking out loud here, I think a good title would be, well, something pretty direct. Podcast editor needed to, let's do this. Podcast editor needed to edit a podcast. Now, this isn't very attractive in terms of its title, but let's see if I can spice things up. Podcast editor needed to edit a podcast. Can add some more detail maybe in the title. Need to edit podcast episodes on an ongoing basis. This is at least a better version to grab their attention, because the description is actually what people will be reading if they're applying to the job. So that's pretty decent of a title of what people should expect. So for job category, looks like there's quite a few, but really it's video editing more so than audio editing, because if you recall, I mentioned that my main goal for this is to not just piece together the audio and the video, but to really chop up the video, post it on different platforms to really maximize the reach of the podcast. So it'll be under video editing and on an ongoing basis. So that's pretty clear. So in terms of skills, sometimes there's good suggestions here and sometimes they're so-so. But I think podcasts, audio editing, and video editing is good. And then also, because I'm posting this to social media, on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. I also am going to put social media in here as well, if it will let me. Social media video. I think that's a good one. Okay. And in terms of the software that's being used, if you have a project, like let's say you're doing a software project and you need some contract work, you could put in what platform and software is actually used here. But since I only care about the end result, which I think is what you should be caring about, I don't mind if they use Adobe After Effects or iMovie, whatever, as long as it looks good. And that I can judge by the applicants that I get. So this is basically a good filter for freelancers to get an idea of the scope of the project. Is it going to be a giant project or a small one? This isn't so small that it's just a one-off thing, because it is pretty well-defined and ongoing, but it's not extremely complex. So I'm guessing, at least for now, 3 to 6 months is a good start in terms of how long I'm going to be working with this person before I decide if I want to keep going with them, if we're a good fit or not. So I'm just going to put 3 to 6 months for this. And for level of experience, I think intermediate is good. You can also have an option to select US only or worldwide. I usually like going worldwide because then you have a bit more selection. Although I will say sometimes if you put US only, a freelancer in the US might be more likely to submit a job proposal for it because they know there's less competition and it's something important. But I'm going to choose worldwide. Now, in terms of budget, what I really like that Upwork lets you do, and I think there's a few other sites that let you do this too, is it shows the estimated hourly rate based on your descriptions and filters and whatnot, which is really good. So they give you an estimated range. That way you're not just completely off base with what you're asking for. You can also set a maximum project budget if it's a one-time thing. Like if you're looking to get a logo created and your budget is, say, $1,000 or $500, you can put that there. So then when freelancers are applying, they can actually see what your budget is. But I have learned that I like hiring by the hour if you can manage people properly. But if it's more comfortable for you, you can do project budget as well to get started. But for now, I'm going to do hourly rates. And I think 12 to 30 an hour is good. And if not, we can always change it later and put out another job post, but I'm feeling confident that this is what I need because it's a pretty simple job. Okay. So now I'm going to actually write the job description. There's several ways to go about doing this. What I've found is being open absolutely helps. If you reference maybe the specific project you're working on, why it's important to you, you actually do get, at least in my experience, higher quality candidates. Otherwise, if you're very cryptic and not mentioning the project, I mean, it may exclude some people who actually want to know what they're working on before they apply. But then again, if you do that, then you don't have people finding you outside of Upwork, which happens occasionally, sending you messages. But I've found that referencing the actual project, being open about it, being open about your goals leads to higher quality candidates. So I'm going to think up a quick job description. The way I like to do it, and they also do have several examples here of what kinds of descriptions they have. Like things like this. What I like to do is just start out with a quick few sentences about the actual project. So in this case, editing a podcast based on entrepreneurship and tech. My goal is to have somebody who is self-motivated, able to work with loose requirements, but most importantly, get what I want done, A, B, and C, and whatnot. So it's really like a intro paragraph and then bullet points of the deliverables and how often it will need to be done, as well as experience, which I think is probably one of the best things you can ask for, is just what jobs have you done that are most similar to this. So let me go ahead and write this description. I am looking for a podcast So again, usually my template is, who am I looking for? What is my goal? What does success look like? What the job actually consists of, usually in bullet points, and then preferred experience and whatnot. So I'm looking for someone to edit podcast episodes for my new podcast focused on entrepreneurship and tech. My goal is to provide you with video and audio. My goal is to provide you with raw video and audio of the... My goal is to provide you with raw video and audio recording and to have it... It's a good way to say this. And have it turned into a finished episode, basically. And have it edited into a full-length episode and not clipped. And have it edited into a full-length episode and I'm not used to writing on camera. This is interesting. And have it edited into a full-length episode and certain have clips. Let's see. Let's provide you with raw video and audio recording and have it edited into a full-length episode and have clips cut out for social media. Okay. It's a bit wordy, but maybe this will clarify things. Deliverables. Okay. Bullet points always work. Deliverables. Turn recorded video and audio into a YouTube episode based on a provided templates. What I mean by provided template is there's going to be a structure to each video. So I want perhaps the first 15 to 45 seconds of the video to be a really exciting moment from the podcast or a clip with like a coming soon text over it. Then I want the video and audio matched up for the full-length podcast, which is probably about an hour, and then a closing segment added on. So that's something I can mention in a call with them or even just a quick message. But that doesn't really need to be stated here in too much detail. Again, this is really just to have the right people apply for the job. So deliverables: turn recorded video and audio into a YouTube episode based on the episode structure, based on a Okay, just keep it simple. When in doubt, keep it simple and explain the details as needed. So I want them to take the raw recorded video and audio, put it into a YouTube episode. I also want, let's see, and even just putting this into words too is a great exercise of what you actually want done, because a lot of the times, if you can't put it into words, you're not done thinking yet, is something I like to say. So what else do I want them to do? I want to take exciting, maybe exciting is not a good word. Take episode highlights and turn them into shorter videos for YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Cut episodes into, so basically want to chop up the episode into segments. So cut episodes into themed clips that can be posted separately. Get clips from full episode. Get clips on certain topics from the full episode that can be posted as separate videos. Okay. And also add chapter timestamps for the full episode. Add chapter timestamps for the full episode, so YouTube viewers can skip around easily. What else? Turn recorded video and audio into a YouTube episode. I can provide the I basically want to give some more explanation to what this means. This will consist of syncing the audio and video, adding in the intro, and creating a 15 to 45 second coming soon teaser at the beginning. Okay. So, turn recorded video and audio into a YouTube episode. This will consist of syncing the audio and video, adding in the intro, creating a 15 to 45 second coming soon teaser at the beginning. Okay, so that's building the YouTube video. Then take episode highlights. Take episode highlights and turn them into shorter videos for YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Get clips on certain topics from the full episode that can be posted as separate themed videos. Add chapter timestamps for the full episode so YouTube viewers can stick around easily or skip around easily. And then I think Anchor, where I'm posting this, you can just turn in the video. Let's see. It's audio only version of the podcast. To be posted on non-YouTube platforms. Okay. So again, it doesn't need to be perfect. In fact, it shouldn't be perfect because the more time you spend on this, the less time you're spending on other important things. But I think this is a good start. I'm looking for someone to edit podcast episodes for my new podcast focused on entrepreneurship and tech, give some background so if they're interested in that, they might be more motivated. My goal is to provide you with raw video and audio recording and have it edited into a full-length episode and have clips cut out for social media. Deliverables, turn recorded video and audio into a YouTube episode. This will consist of syncing the audio and video, adding in the intro, and creating a 15 to 45 second coming soon teaser at the beginning. You should take episode highlights and turn them into shorter videos for YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Get clips on certain topics from the full episode that can be posted as separate themed videos. Add chapter timestamps for the full episode so YouTube viewers can skip around easily. Edit the audio only version. Create an audio only version of the podcast to be posted on non-YouTube platforms. Great. So I like that. And now let me add, well, I was going to say add like preferred experience, like if you really wanted to X years working on audio production or podcasts, but I mainly like to just be simple and say, what else have you worked on that's similar? And I think there's a spot for screening questions down here, which I'll just do that. So again, I like to keep it short and sweet. So that will be the job description. So for screening questions, these seem great to just add all these, but as a freelancer, they can get annoying if you just check every single question. Like a lot of these, some don't add value because a lot of people will just add the same thing. But what screening questions do is if somebody, whether it's an agency or a freelancer, is just like spamming their CV and just copying and pasting everything, if you ask a specific question and they don't answer that, chances are they haven't read your description fully. So I do like to add usually one question, although you don't have to, of just what similar projects have you done in the past. For development work that I hire for, usually my only question is, what have you built that is similar? And it cuts through a lot of bad candidates, because if they haven't built something similar, I'm not too interested in them. And if they don't even answer the question, well, I know they're not too serious. So I'm gonna write my own question. What work have have a similar one, but what work have you done in the past that is similar? Okay. You also have the option of some other advanced preferences. Again, I really don't deal with these too much, although on a bigger project with higher stakes, these might be worth looking into. But again, you can always screen these as people apply. For job post preferences, I usually just keep this the same, although only Upwork users is something that I use, so I think I'm just going to go with that. Boosting your job's visibility is interesting. I've had actually some luck with this. You can get a lot of top tier freelancers. Basically, they get like certain discounts working on it. Maybe for bigger projects, like if you're going to hire somebody full time for a few months, this might be worth doing. But really, this is just a couple hours a week, couple hours a month thing, so it's not worth it to boost it, in my opinion. Invite talent is actually really useful because you can find other freelancers before you even post this job. So if I go here and let's see, like type in, let's see, like I can type in podcast editor. It will actually come up with some people who specifically do that. And I do have the option of inviting them to a job, which can actually work sometimes. So if you are scrolling through and you see somebody's work who's like, wow, this is the exact type of work that I need done, then it might be wise to go ahead and invite them to the job, which is something I've been known to do. So you can do that here, or you can do them after you upload upload the job post. So I'm just going to go ahead and post it now. And the job is live. You can find freelancers. So now I might go through a few people and see if they have any similar jobs done, and I will invite them. So you can see some people have certain tags and they're rated in top 1% or top 50%. That's pretty useful to know too. And one of the things, just kind of a final parting thought of why I like Upwork so much rather than just hiring somebody locally or just somebody from a friend of a friend, is that you have so much skin in the game for whoever you hire. And it goes both ways because of the reviewing system. So when people begin applying to your job, you can see how satisfied previous customers have been. You can read every review of every job that they've been given, that they've done, whether it's a 3-star job, a 5-star job. You can see how much money each freelancer has made, so how much experience they actually have on the site. And this can't be faked, which is something that I really like. So when people know that there is also a review that will impact future earnings, people tend to be a lot more intentional with the jobs that they accept and the type of work that they do, which I have found to be pretty useful in the long run. So other than that, you can invite people, and when they start applying to the job, really it's just a matter of messaging them if you'd like. It's not always required, but I like to now set up a call with them, just ask a few basic questions, especially if it's going to be a longer term thing. But I hope this was useful. This is literally just me making a hire of something that I need, because delegation is key. Even if you can do something, doesn't mean you should, because in the 5 or 10 hours every couple weeks that I might spend editing this, that's 5 or 10 hours that I'm not focusing on more important stuff. So get out there, make it happen. Best of luck in the future, everyone. Take care.